And welcome
to Nightmare Nation,
the paranormal themed podcast where we talk about haunted places around the world.
And scary things.
And demons.
And ghosts.
And witches.
And seances.
And cults.
And UFOs.
And aliens.
Bermuda Triangle.
Ooh, unsolved mysteries and possessions and
cults.
All sorts of crazy shit.
Everything that's weird, crazy, paranormal, unexplained.
Makes you get goosebumps when you think about it.
Them goose pimps.
Goose pimps. Pimping out them geese.
Yes.
If it like keeps you up at night, or how about this? If it's ever been the subject of like a scary movie,
hell yeah.
Then we want to talk about it.
We're going to talk about it on this podcast.
We also love talking about scary movies themselves. As you may have noticed, that's pretty much how we start most of our episodes.
That's how this friendship began. Well, not actually.
Well, okay, I was going to say Anna got... hey, I'm Annie.
Hey, what's up? I'm Anna.
And I hated the idea of horror movies.
I hated them.
Absolutely resistant to ever watching one. I was like, I don't want to be scared. I don't want to be
never want to watch these. Don't ever make me want to.
I don't want to be up at night.
Watch a scary movie.
Not being able to sleep. And then Anna, I feel like it's the same thing with like tattoos where like once you get one, you want to get more. And I watched the same thing happen to a really good friend of mine in college. She was the same way as me. She's like, I hate horror movies. I don't want to watch them. I'm such a scaredy cat. Like, I'm not interested. And I made her like watch like a scary but not really scary one. And she survived. And she was like, okay, I survived. It's fine. It's okay. And then the next time I wanted to watch a scary movie, she was like, okay, I'd be willing to do that if you wanted to do that. So then I made her watch a slightly scarier one. And after like 3 or 4 movies, she was like, do you guys want to watch a horror movie tonight? And I'm like, it's the same thing that Anna did to me. You just have to like open that floodgate. And once you do, it's like...
it's the best floodgate opening ever.
You just get like washed over with waves of terror and excitement and adrenaline.
Because, had I never done this, we wouldn't be sitting here today podcasting.
We sure wouldn't.
And we wouldn't have gone and seen a movie marathon scary last weekend.
Yeah. In fact, this podcast was like my idea because you introduced me to the world of horror. And I was like, do you want to do a paranormal podcast with
do it? And I was like, fuck, yes. All the time.
I still remember that text exchange, and Anna responded in all caps with like a billion exclamation marks and was like, yes, please. Oh my God, yes.
I don't know how else to respond in text form.
I could sense your excitement. So thank you for bringing me into this nightmarish world.
You're so welcome.
True crime / horror / paranormal / everything scary.
I'm
and
so glad that I could pop your scary movie cherry.
Oh, thanks.
It's the best.
It exploded.
I know. Everywhere.
Exploding
like
cherries.
Blood in a scary movie. No. I hope you enjoy that mental image, friends.
Gross. Especially, didn't our drink last week have cherries in it?
Did it? What did we have last week?
Yeah, that was last week. It was the cherry splash.
Oh, yeah!
Ew.
Oops. And tonight our beverage is going to be red.
It is.
We're just on a theme.
But it doesn't have anything to do with cherries.
No.
It's very Italian.
Yes. We're going Italian tonight. I'm not going to attempt an Italian accent because I don't know.
We all know how it goes when you try to do
accents. Savannah, Georgia. So we're not even going to attempt an Italian one because I don't know how to do that.
That's okay. You know what? We're not Italian.
Spaghetti. That's what I got for you.
Okay, I was going to say that's not the worst accent you've ever done, and you also, like, lifted up your hands.
I did.
And that, like, mwah, like, mwah, delicioso, like, gesture, so that helped. But no one else can see that except me, so.
This is why we need to start, like, actually video recording while we're recording so we can put it on the YouTube so people can like see us.
I just feel like that's opening a whole can of worms that I have no interest in opening.
Because they'll see our super awesome outfits and the beverages that we drank throughout our podcast.
And just all the I mean,
bullshitness that
it's one
happens.
thing when you hear my voice and I feel like a fool, but when you like also can see my face, I just
feel like a double fool,
like extra triple foolness. And I'm not here for it. I'm here to talk at your ear holes. So
talking inside, we are penetrating those ear holes,
just like the aliens from last week.
Yep.
So
all
right. Okay, that was enough shenanigans for one episode.
Our husbands are cooking us dinner right now, so we actually have to try and stay on topic kind of tonight.
Yeah, I mean,
but you know, we say
happen?
this every time we record, and
like,
then 2 hours later, sorry,
is it
dinner's been done for like
though?
5 hours.
Okay, we gotta keep on track. Keep on track. All right.
Okay.
So I feel like I'm excited about tonight because we're sort of getting back to our roots, and we're talking about a place that is very much near and dear to my heart. Not the specific one, but the concept of them.
Before we actually dive into it, I have never heard of this place.
You know what? I haven't either. And I was like, what the hell?
I was very surprised. Because going through, like, my articles, I'm like, this sounds like a pretty haunted location, and it's not talked about very often compared to some other more popular places that we've talked about.
And there's also...
Which is weird.
So I was on history, and there was, like, a robust history of it with a lot of detail. Like, unlike some of these places that are kind of obscure and, like, you maybe haven't heard of them because just not that many people know about it, and the Wikipedia page is, like, one paragraph. Like, this had a shit ton of detail. And
there's a lot of information on this place.
And then I was looking at it, I was like, have we done this place before?
I know.
I was like, is this the right one? So, yeah, I don't know how we've missed this.
Right.
And I feel like we've done like 15 different penitentiaries. So, spoiler alert, we're doing a penitentiary tonight.
Our favorite! Because there's just so much stuff that happens typically in penitentiaries.
And this one has like such dark shit.
Yes.
Like,
I was kind of skimming over some of the history. I'm like, oh God, oh, here we go.
Why don't we just
be an adventure?
I'll just dive right in.
Let's just dive right into this excitement of the penitentiary that we are covering.
So this is the West Virginia Penitentiary, which is also known as the Moundsville Penitentiary, which is another reason I was like, wait, am I looking at the right place? Because I was like,
I said that a couple times because I found one article. I'm like, is this correct?
And then I looked up like Moundsville Penitentiary, and it was like the West Virginia Penitentiary located in Moundsville. And I'm like, so is this the same place, or are there two in Moundsville? Like, am I good?
Am I doing this right?
Pretty sure I got the right one. So if I didn't, this is going to be embarrassing.
It's going to be a fun episode.
So my source was Wikipedia. Got it all from the same place. So, the West Virginia, also known as the Moundsville Penitentiary, is a Gothic-style prison located in Moundsville, West Virginia. Now withdrawn and retired from prison use, it operated from 1876 to 1995.
Holy fuck.
It's old as shit.
Oh, I didn't know it operated that long.
And yeah, like we were born before it closed down.
Holy
crazy
balls.
pants. Unlike most of these places that I feel like shut down in like the 60s or 70s, this one went until 1995.
Holy shit, that's impressive.
So currently the site is maintained as a tourist attraction and is also used as a training facility.
Oh, really?
I don't really know what for.
Okay. Does it say like guards maybe?
Could be guards. Yeah, I'm not totally sure.
Huh.
So let's go to the very beginning, shall we?
Take me back to them 1800s.
I mean, we're going all the way back to the Civil War. So
that's fucking crazy.
Prepare yourself.
It's ridiculous.
This place is old. So in 1863, West Virginia seceded from Virginia at the height of the American Civil War. So for anyone who doesn't know, like that West Virginia and Virginia used to be one state.
Which I didn't know that.
Yeah, I knew that, but I forget about it, right? Because you're just used to them being separate. So if you didn't know, they actually used to be the same state. And
they
then
were together.
West Virginia said, deuces.
Bye, bitches.
And peaced out.
I'm doing my own thing.
Yeah, and it sure did. So consequently, the new state had a shortage of various public institutions, including prisons. So they're a brand new state. They don't have the infrastructure ready. Like, they're used to relying on all of the things in place, like in the holistic state of Virginia. Now they're like, well, all these government-funded programs and shit, we have to build from scratch. So from 1863 to 1866, Governor Arthur I. Borman lobbied the West Virginia legislature for a state penitentiary, but was repeatedly denied. The legislature at first directed him to send the prisoners to other institutions out of the state. I don't really know how that works.
Why?
I mean, is it like when you have like overflowing schools and you send them to another district?
I mean,
like,
maybe.
I don't know. It just seems weird to me.
That seems really strange.
Then they directed him to use existing county jails, which of course turned out to be highly inadequate. So after...
Well, you fucking think it's a damn county jail.
I know. So there was a big escapade in which 9 inmates escaped from the county jail in 1865. Right. The local press was then like, all right, you guys, we got to do something about this. So they took up the cause, and then the legislature took action. So on February 7th, 1866, the state legislature approved the purchase of land in Moundsville for the purpose of constructing a state prison. 10 acres were purchased just outside of the city limits for $3,000.
Oh, man.
That's so cheap.
That's so cheap.
Moundsville approved...
And, this place is huge.
Yeah, it's massive.
For $3,000?
10 acres? Yeah.
Holy shit.
I know, but it's like Civil War era.
Jump on that shit
cheap
right
as
quick.
Shit.
Uh-huh.
So... Moundsville proved an attractive site as it is approximately 12 miles south of Wheeling, West Virginia, which was at the time the state capital. So it was close to a lot of the stuff going on in the state. So they built a temporary wooden prison nearby that summer. This gave prison officials time to assess what the prison design should be used for. They had chosen a modified version of the design of Northern Illinois Penitentiary at Joliet. So they basically kind of copied an existing penitentiary.
Okay.
Its Gothic Revival architecture exhibited as much as possible great strength and conveyed to the mind a cheerless blank indicative of the misery which awaits the unhappy being who enters within its walls.
Oh my God.
That's a quote. I don't know who it's from, but it is bleak.
That's aggressive.
They specifically designed it to make you feel depressed as shit when you walk up.
Cool.
And be like,
thanks, guys.
Welcome to hell. I hope you feel as miserable as this building looks.
That's a little gothic.
So, in any case, the building definitely wasn't a happy feeling place. It looked as cheerless as it was intended to make the prisoners feel. So, not a happy place to be.
I mean, personally, I think the building looks pretty fucking cool.
I mean, it does look cool, but it wasn't designed to, give you the warm, fuzzy feels.
Yeah, no, it doesn't.
So... The first building constructed on the site was the North Wagon Gate. It was made of hand-cut sandstone, which was quarried from a local site. The state used prison labor during the construction process, and work continued on this first phase until 1876. When completed, the total cost was $363,061.
How about
to
that?
the dollar. Got exact figures here.
All right.
In addition to the North Wagon Gate, there was now North and South cell block areas. South Hall, which had 224 cells, which were all 7 by 4 feet, which is really freaking tiny.
Is that like the size of this closet, huh?
It's pretty damn small.
Huh.
And then the North Hall, which had a kitchen, dining area, hospital, and chapel. A 4-story tower connecting the two was the administration building. It included space for female inmates and personal living quarters for the warden and his family. The facility officially opened in the same year and had a prison population of 251 male inmates, including some who had helped construct the prison when they were incarcerated. Oh. They're like, hey guys, as part of your sentence, you get to help us build your future
free labor
holding cell. Yeah.
Perfect.
After this phase, work began on prison workshops and other secondary facilities. So, in addition to construction, the inmates had other jobs to do in support of the prison. In the early 1900s, some industries within the prison walls included a carpentry shop, a paint shop, wagon shop, stone yard, a brick yard, a blacksmith, a tailor, a bakery, and a hospital.
Jesus.
Which sounds sort of roughly similar to the suite of offerings that the other penitentiaries we've talked about had. Like all these different things to essentially keep people busy and help build their skills.
Which, I find it so weird that back in the day they had all these, but I feel like nowadays prisons, you don't have anything.
Give them something constructive to do.
They sit in their cell for almost all day, and then they get some outside time.
And then maybe get to go to, the library for a little bit. At least that's how it's portrayed on TV.
Right,
I don't know if that's real life, but,
I feel like maximum security is very strict, but if you're in more minimum security, maybe they have more options.
Let him go work in the bakery. What are you going to do with a bunch of flour and water? It's not like these people are going to be dangerous while they're making sourdough.
Exactly.
Come on, give them something to do.
Yeah.
So at the same time, revenue from the prison farm and inmate labor helped the prison financially. So it was essentially a self-sufficient kind of its own village, and it produced a lot of its own materials and things.
That's cool.
It's a kind of a cool model. A prison coal mine located a mile away opened in 1921, and the mine helped fill some of the prison's energy needs and saved the state an estimated $14,000 a year, which is super cool.
Holy shit.
Some inmates were allowed to stay at the mine's camp under supervision, and the person who supervised them was not a prison employee. So they were like an external, like, mine foreman person.
Oh, that's kind of sketchy.
Yeah, I don't know. Conditions at the prison, however, during the turn of the 20th century, so they started out good. At the turn of the 20th century, they were decent, according to a warden's report, which stated that, quote, both the quantity and quality of all the purchases of material, food, and clothing have been very gradually but steadily improved, while the discipline has become more nearly perfect and the exaction of labor less stringent, end quote.
Okay.
So things are decent.
Cool.
Education was a priority, and they regularly attended class at the prison. So construction of a school and a library was completed in 1900 to help reform and educate them, which I feel like is what you should probably do.
Yeah.
As just kind of a standard practice. Like, try
Absolutely.
to help educate people, help them feel like they're learning something, teach them the skills they need to survive in society as a functional human being. So, however, as of course you may have guessed, and as always happens with these places, the conditions at the prison worsened throughout the years.
Of course.
And this is super interesting. The facility would ultimately be ranked on the United States Department of Justice's top 10 most violent correctional facilities list.
Oh, shit.
Shit went downhill.
Dude.
One of the more infamous locations in the prison, with instances of gambling, fighting, and raping, was a recreation room known as the Sugar Shack.
Yep.
That is fucking gross.
Yep.
It's so gross.
And I think I looked, when I was doing some of my research, I found one website that had some images, and I'm pretty sure I saw an image of the Sugar Shack, and it's literally in the basement, and it's just cement. Like, cement ceilings, cement pillars coming up, and it's just, like, dark and dank and just not nice.
Just a freaking, like, raping room.
Yeah,
that's
like, they
so
could
disgusting.
probably just get away with anything down there, because I'm
It's-
sure there's no guards, or if the guards are there, they just don't care.
Well, what a gross name for it, too. It's just so creepy.
Sugar Shack.
Ew. So in 1929, the state decided to double the size of the penitentiary because overcrowding, of course, was a problem. And when is it not? So at the time, the 5 by 7 foot cells were too small to hold 3 prisoners.
Oh my god, I would go nuts.
Yep.
Nope.
Yep.
That's literally the size of this closet.
Yep.
Could you imagine someone else sleeping in here?
Let alone 3 people? Come on.
Oh, no.
So, until the expansion, there was no other option. So, for a time, they had 2 prisoners who would sleep in the bunks and then a third person sleeping on the floor.
Ugh.
And not just sleeping, like, you have to poop in the room, you have to, like, live in the room, you spend all your time just with 2 other people, like, you can't get away from them, there's no privacy, it's just gross.
No.
So the state used prison labor again and completed the expansion in 1959. The construction was delayed because of a steel shortage during World War II, so it took them longer than they wanted to. In total, 36 homicides took place in the prison.
Holy fuck.
That's a lot.
Yeah, it is.
I guess it was open for a long time, but still, that's a lot.
That's still a
You're in
decent
prison.
amount.
You're not supposed to be able to, like, have access to things that let you kill people.
Right, exactly.
So one of the more notable ones is the butchering of R.D. Wall, inmate number 44670. So on October 8th, 1929, after snitching on one of his fellow inmates, snitches get stitches, he was attacked while heading...
Just die.
I mean, he got some metaphorical stitches, a.k.a. death. So he was attacked while heading to the boiler room by 3 prisoners who had dull shivs and essentially shanked him to death.
Cool.
In 1983, convicted multiple murderer Charles Manson.
Yeah, I fucking saw that. I was like,
Charles
are you seriously?
I'm surprised it wasn't Al Capone,
Oh,
to be honest.
right? But fucking Charles Manson.
So,
like, holy balls.
However, so he requested to be transferred to the prison because it was closer to his family, but the request was denied. So he never went there, but he tried to go there, which is
Good
crazy
try,
pants.
Charles Manson.
Okay, so now we're going to get into some details because in 1979, there was a massive prison break.
Ooh,
so let me tell you
that's
about
fun.
it.
Tell me.
I love these stories.
They're so great.
So on Wednesday, November 7th, 1979, 15 prisoners escaped from the prison. One of the escapees was Ronald Turney Williams, serving time for murdering a sergeant from the local police department. Sergeant from the Beckley Police Department. I don't know if that's local or where it's located, but that was in May of 1975. So Williams managed to steal a prison guard's service weapon in the escape. Upon reaching the streets of Moundsville, he encountered 23-year-old off-duty West Virginia State Trooper Philip S. Kesner, who was driving past the prison with his wife.
Oh.
He drives past and he's like, wait a minute, that looks like a prisoner with a gun. What the hell?
This isn't right.
So Kesner saw the escapees and attempted to take action against them. The prisoners then pulled him from his car and he was shot. No, I'm sorry.
Oh.
Williams was shot, not the officer. I got that backwards.
The prisoner was shot?
Yes.
Okay, good.
Yes.
Like, to be honest, if I saw prisoners running around with guns, I wouldn't
if
try
your wife
to do
is in the
anything.
car, if your wife is with you,
I saw nothing.
I mean, or just like radio for backup and then like
Right.
leave the scene and try to like block the road or further down or something. I
exactly.
don't know.
I-
Just
no.
his wife was with him. I don't know.
No, thank you.
Okay, so oh no, I read it wrong. The prisoners pulled him from his car and Williams shot him. Not Williams got shot. Williams shot Kesner. Okay, I totally got that wrong. So Kesner returned fire at the fleeing suspects despite being mortally wounded.
No.
Oh, Kesner. This is why you don't fight
That's
when
why
you're
you
with your
just
wife.
don't do it. Just don't.
Oh, that's right. Okay, so then Williams remained at large for 18 months.
Holy
so he
shit.
successfully escaped. He started
That's impressive.
Yeah, and then to one up everything, he decided he was going to start sending taunting notes to the authorities and just be like, fuck you guys, I escaped. And at the time, he was on the FBI's 10 most wanted list.
Oh, shit. That's cool.
Yeah. During the time, he murdered John Bunchek in Scottsdale, Arizona during a robbery, and he was also connected to crimes in Colorado and Pennsylvania, so he just went freaking everywhere.
Just went everywhere.
After a shootout with federal agents at the George Washington Hotel in New York City in 1981, he was eventually apprehended and returned to West Virginia to complete several life sentences.
I'm sure.
Arizona sought extradition for his execution, but, as of June 13th, 2021... Hello, that was like several days ago.
What?
He remains at West Virginia in custody.
What?
Okay, I totally did not read that little bit when I was taking my notes. I guess I cut and pasted that and didn't read it. Because that was like literally
is this
like
guy now? He's gotta be in his like 80s or something.
Maybe at least 50s.
Oh shit!
Because he escaped in 79, so he must have been in his like 20s at least. So, oh my god, he's probably like 60 to 80 years old. That's crazy.
That's cool.
Cool. Okay, so he's still there.
How about that?
I guess. But it was like they closed it down. So I don't. Maybe he's in like a special containment cell or something.
Sort of other.
I don't know.
Spot.
Okay, so then in 1986 there was a very famous prison riot. So on January 1st, New Year's Day, 1986, was the date of the most infamous riot in the history of the penitentiary. So they had been undergoing many changes and problems. Security had become extremely loose in all areas. And since it was a con prison, so like people who are like kind of like con artists, like, I don't know. So
They're
basically,
pretty smart.
Yeah. So most of the locks in all the cells had been picked. Because all these people knew how to pick locks.
Well, right.
And there was literally just people like roaming the halls freely. Just like walking around. Security was pretty lax, and all the prisoners like figured out how to bust out of their cells, I guess. And they were all just like,
what a life to live in prison.
I know. It's just so bizarre. I'm trying to picture that in my head, and it's so bizarre. Also at the time, bad plumbing and insects had caused rapid spreading of various diseases.
Sounds about
How
right.
nice. The prison was holding more than 2,000 men at the time.
Oof.
They started with 251.
Holy shit.
So multiply that by like 9.
That's a lot.
Yeah. So crowding was an issue.
Of
Then
course.
another major contribution to the riot's cause was the fact that it was a holiday. So many of the officers weren't at work. They called off and took the time off, which, is fair.
Right.
But unfortunately, when you have a bunch bunch of pissed off dudes wandering through the hallway because you can't keep them in their
to.
cells. They were like, all right, we're going to do it today. Mm-hmm. So around 5:30 p.m., 20 inmates known as a group called the Avengers.
Oh!
Holy shit, you guys are cool.
Fancy.
They stormed the mess hall where Captain Glassock and others were on duty. This is a quote. Within seconds, he, Captain Glasshawk, 5 other officers, and a food service worker were tackled and slammed to the floor. Inmates put knives to their throats and handcuffed them with their own handcuffs, end quote. Although several hostages were taken throughout the day, none of them were seriously injured, thank God.
Good.
However, over the course of the 2-day upheaval,
Whoa!
3 inmates were killed for an assortment of reasons. This is another quote. The inmates who initiated the riot were not prepared to take charge of it. Go figure. Danny Lehman, the Avengers president, was quickly agreed upon as best suited for the task of negotiating with authorities and presenting the demands to the media. Yet Lehman was not a part of the 20 men who began the riot. Governor Arch A. Moore Jr. went to the penitentiary to talk with the inmates. The meeting set up a new list of rules and standards on which the prison would build. National and local news covered the story as well as the inmates meeting with Governor Moore.
Damn.
So essentially, they held a bunch of people hostage, and then the authorities finally negotiated with them to say hey, we're going to address these problems, let everyone go. It's all going to be fine. And I think it resolved somewhat peacefully since none of the hostages were ever killed or injured in any meaningful way. So that's good.
That's cool. Good job, guys.
And then, of course, with most penitentiaries, there's also a history of executions. Mm-hmm. So I'll go through that real quick. So from 1899 to 1959, 94 men were executed at the prison.
Shit.
That's more than one per year.
It's a lot.
It's a lot. Hanging was the method of execution until 1949, with 85 men meeting that particular fate. Oof. The public could attend the hangings, which were public until June 19th, 1931. Just for funsies. Isn't that what you want to do on a Saturday?
Me out. When you see it in movies in the 1800s, and people are just standing around and watching, you watch someone just suffer.
Yeah.
In the gallows to die. Why? Why?
You can't think of anything else you'd like to do with your free afternoon?
Fuck.
You go for a walk?
I don't want to watch someone die.
I mean,
no, thank you.
The only thing I could think of is if I'm a family member or a loved one of someone who's been a victim.
Well, yeah, absolutely.
And then I feel I'm seeing justice being served,
yes.
but also that's still pretty brutal.
It is.
I don't know.
I get upset when I watch something brutal on TV, like a TV show or a movie.
Yeah.
If it's just aggressive, slow stabbings make me so uncomfortable.
Oh my God, The Strangers when she gets
just in. I'm oh my God.
It's so horrible.
Stop.
So you're going to love this then.
Oh, good.
So when the executions being available to the public stopped was June 19th, 1931. On that particular date, Frank Heyer was executed for murdering his wife. When the trap door beneath him was opened and his full weight settled into the noose, he was instantly decapitated.
Oh, wow, that's aggressive.
At least he didn't suffer.
I suppose, but
basically after that, they were yeah. So
that's a lot of force.
Following the event, attendance at hangings was by invitation only.
Oh,
and they're well, that didn't go the way we planned it. So the last man executed by hanging was Bud Peterson from Logan County, and he was buried in the prison cemetery because his family refused to claim his body.
Oh.
Oops.
Sorry.
They didn't like him. Beginning in 1951, electrocution became the means of execution. And the electric chair that they used was nicknamed Old Sparky.
Oh,
how
nice.
Charming.
Beautiful.
And it was used by the prison and was originally built by an inmate who was imprisoned there named Paul Glenn.
Oh.
So he built it.
Oh.
Yeah. 9 men were electrocuted before the state prohibited capital punishment entirely in 1965. But the original chair, Old Sparky, is on display in the facility and is included as part of the tour you can take.
Oh, that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
I guess.
So, towards the end of its life as a prison, the facility was marked by many instances of riots and escapes, a couple of which I've already talked about. So, in the 1960s, the prison had reached a peak population, which I've also already discussed, and essentially, conditions were going downhill. There was a couple of other facilities that had been built in the area. So eventually the number of prisoners went down to 600 to 700 by 1995. And then the fate of the prison was sealed in a 1986 ruling by West Virginia Supreme Court, which stated that cell confinement to 5x7 cells was considered cruel and unusual punishment. Thank God.
Glad you figured that out in fucking 1995.
Yeah, Anna already was like, what the hell? That's terrible. So basically that ruling came out in 1986, and then within 9 years, they kind of like took that time to start closing it down and shipping the prisoners elsewhere. So it eventually was closed as a prison. Most of the inmates were transferred to the nearby Mount Olive Correctional Complex in Fayette County, West Virginia, and a smaller correctional facility was built a mile away in Moundsville to serve as a regional jail.
No.
So
nice.
That's the gruesome, horrifying history of Moundsville / West Virginia Penitentiary.
There it is.
Which I'm sure is haunted as fuck because of the 8 billion people who died there.
Yeah. So, with all the shit that happens over like 100-year period, sure to be haunted. So my sources are lieabout.com, onlyinourstate.com, and legendsofamerica.com. So, many claim that the penitentiary is plagued with residual haunting, which is defined as a replay of tragic events from the past.
Oh no, like when you see people, like see the ghosts like reliving like their execution or something.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so sad.
So a lot of prisoners like walking back and forth, pacing, doing what they would normally do in their daily life.
Baking bread. Making paint.
Yeah. So it's also said, actually, that the penitentiary was built on an ancient Native American burial ground.
Of course it was.
Yeah.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
So it was built right across from the Grave Creek Mound, which is one of the largest conical-type burial mounds in the U.S. Some believe that the negative energy from the deceased Native Americans infiltrated the prison, resulting in many of the paranormal events that have occurred.
I can see that. Also, a lot of people died there, though. Like, regardless of burial grounds, like, there's a lot of horrible things that happened that might also lead to residual energy. Just throwing that out there.
So there are several hot spots where activity is seen most. These include the chapel, shower cages.
Shower cages? I'm sorry.
Cages. I'm assuming they showered in literal cages to try and keep them apart from everybody.
So they don't get raped while they're showering.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Don't drop that soap, friends.
My God. That's the first time I've heard that term.
Right?
None of the other places we've talked about have mentioned shower cages. That's horrifying.
I know. As well as death row, the sugar shack, of course, which, like Annie talked about, was a recreational area.
Quote, recreational.
Right?
Uh-huh.
Rape area.
Yeah, gambling, rape, drugs, all that
fun
good stuff.
So another location for activity is the circular entrance gate, which was used to separate arriving inmates from the warden's living quarters. So reports of ghosts have been seen since the early 1930s. During this time, an inmate was often spied walking along a maintenance area where prisoners were not allowed. So it's like a little maintenance road. So then in some cases, the guards eventually set off the alarms, but when they went to investigate to see if there was anybody out there, there was no one there and no inmates were unaccounted for.
Of course.
Mm-hmm.
So this is while it was still actively a prison. It's not like just when they started tours later on. Yep. I love that. That makes me feel like it's more real.
Exactly.
I love it.
Like it's not like after it's closed down.
Yeah.
Like, oh my God, it's haunted.
Oh my God, there's ghosts. Yeah, I love it.
So of course the old rec room, the sugar shack, which, like Annie had talked about, was infamous for illegal gambling, drug deals, rape, fighting, and murder. So today's visitors report hearing unexplained noises and felt cold spots within the room. The rec room is also said to be haunted by a maintenance man who once worked there. He was said to often spy on the prisoners and was quick to report any news or infractions to the guards.
So he was very busy.
Yes.
Because
super busy.
There was a lot of illegal things happening there. So I'm pretty sure every single second of every day he would have something to report.
Oh, God, yeah. Yep. So unfortunately, in retaliation, he was stabbed several times with shivs and he was while he was in the bathroom.
Oh, no!
They're like, fuck you, we know you're spying on us, you're done.
That sort of sounds like the Snitches Get Stitches story I brought up, but the details are slightly different. I don't think it was like a...
It's different.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. So maybe that was a story that got kind of morphed to fit the...
Yeah, it could have been.
Because, like, this person also got, like, stabbed by a shiv for, like, snitching on people. But I think in my history, they said it was, like, a fellow prisoner.
Yeah, I think I have that somewhere else.
Oh, is that a separate one?
I think so.
Okay.
I think so,
Got it.
So after his death, his ghost is said to wander around the basement area, and people have reported equipment malfunction down there. Then there is also the North Wagon Gate, which is one of the prison's oldest structures, and it's said to be home of one of the prisoners, to one of the prison's most active ghosts. So this is where the execution gallows were held, where there was a man named Orville Adkins who was hanged in 1938. Visitors often say that this area exudes an evil feeling, and they feel as if they are being watched. Mysterious sounds and voices have been captured in EVPs, and ghosts of the condemned are often seen.
I mean, I believe it. They hung so many people. It was like 80 people. Yeah. It's crazy how much like negative energy would be attached to that place. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So the gate is said to be haunted by Orville, who was condemned for kidnapping a minister who was later found dead. However, his execution was botched.
Oh, no!
As the noose was being placed around his neck, a nervous assistant pulled the trap door handle too quickly, and Orville fell 20 feet down to the stone walkway.
So not, like, hung? He just, like, fell?
Correct, but he was only stunned and hurt, but didn't die.
Oh.
So, they pulled him back up to the scaffolding and then hanged him correctly.
Oh, no. That's
so not only
awful.
Was he nervous about getting hanged, he dropped,
they
survived, and then was eventually hanged.
Oh, poor bastard.
Like, fuck.
I mean, theoretically, he deserved it, but, like, oh my God, that's so awful. It makes me think of Game of Thrones when Theon Greyjoy goes to, like, decapitate the guy, and he can't get it right. It takes him, like, multiple swings. I'm like, fuck.
Just stop.
Oh, gosh. I mean, oh my God.
Yeah.
That's so horrible.
Really bad. So his footsteps are often heard pacing back and forth slowly.
The prisoner?
Yep.
Yeah, I'd be pissed too. It'd be like, you done fucked up, guys.
You did.
Come on.
Like, just kill me once, please. Don't try and kill me 2 times.
Don't drop me 20 feet and then hang me. That's like just torture at that point.
It's the worst.
It's so horrible.
So the North Hall was where the worst offenders were placed and where 2 murders occurred. One biker guy by the name of Danny was stabbed in the eye by another inmate and died from hemorrhages.
And
eyeballs.
Eyeball stabbings. I can't do it. It's so horrible.
I remember, what was it? The Conjuring, I think. And the knife came super close to her eye. And you're like sitting in your chair like, oh God. Oh, God. Oh, God. You were, like, cringing. I'm like, yeah, you don't like this.
There's a movie we saw that was really horrible where this guy was, like, laying down on the floor and he looks to his left or right or whatever. He's, like, on the floor and he looks sideways and a little machine with, like, a screwdriver on it comes up and literally, like, screwdrives his eye apart while he's laying there on the floor. It's so awful.
That's disgusting.
It's so bad. Just eyes is just such a, like...
It's so delicate.
I hate it.
It's the worst. Yep. So the other man who was murdered, his name was Red. That was his nickname. He was disliked by many of the inmates and was involved in a number of fights. In the end, he was attacked in front of his cell and fatally stabbed 37 times.
Oh my God.
He was just shanked to death.
Literally just repeatedly shanked to death.
Yes.
That's crazy.
So the hall has been the site of many strange events, including photographic anomalies, equipment malfunctions, the sound of cell doors banging when no one is there, and many reporting feeling very uncomfortable there.
Yeah.
I would too.
Uh-huh.
So then in the solitary confinement area, people have often reported feeling cold spots and feeling like they are being touched on their backs. Other hotspots include death row, the psych ward, chapel, again, shower cages, dining room, and the boiler room, which the boiler room was where the prisoner was killed. Right?
Yes.
I'm pretty sure that's what she said.
You know, I already forgot everything we just talked about, so that's a thing.
I thought you said something.
Think.
I don't know.
You know, it was like 15 minutes ago at this point. I can't be expected to remember the things I just talked about.
Exactly. Come on,
Give
guys.
me a break. Shut up, everyone. God.
Fuck. Okay, so there's an entity that is called a Shadow Man because he lurks in dark places and has no visible features. He has been described as appearing like a dark shadow that is very intimidating. That's all I got on him.
Just creeping in the dark.
Throughout the prison, visitors and staff reported seeing fleeting glimpses of apparitions, smelling unpleasant odors. That's supposed to be strange, but I typed it as S-R-A-N-E.
Srain. Srain.
So they're hearing srain noises and echoes.
Oh, srain.
Feelings of being watched and a disembodied voice that says, "Help, I am trapped."
Oh, no. Oh, no. That's
They're
horrible.
stuck. They're just stuck there.
Help. Help pulls.
Help pulls. Visitors have also felt brushes, taps, and even shoves from unseen hands, as well as cameras have captured ghostly mists, faces, figures, and orbs. Others have also seen ghosts of prisoners in uniforms walking the halls and disappearing into walls.
A lot of shit in one building.
Yeah.
Like, literally every, checkbox of paranormal activity.
Right. Like it's every little
every
thing.
single one.
And guess what?
What?
This place is listed on the National Register of Historic Places. Do you like how I wrote that? In all fucking caps with exclamation marks because it's a goddamn conspiracy. I am convinced
Anna
now that this is what it is.
Anna literally has her bullet and it's like, National Register of Historic Places and freaking all caps with a million exclamation marks. It's just
every single place.
But again, okay, so
I mean, it is old.
It could be a chicken or the egg thing. Like,
I guess.
Is it on the register because it's haunted, or is it on the register because it's really old and really old places happen to be more likely to be haunted
it's
because
probably
they have
the latter? But I just like a conspiracy theory.
I know you do. You love
I just
a good.
love them.
I know you do.
They're just my favorite.
This is one that I'm okay with buying into.
Yes!
There is a thread.
I won't go down the rabbit hole of my conspiracies because you would look at me differently.
We should see if all of these places are on ley lines.
What is that?
Those are like the spiritual, underground lines of energy.
Isn't that one of our places was on that? I think.
Yep, the Ancient Ram Inn, I think, was on a ley line.
That sounds right.
In Watton under the bridge or whatever.
Yeah.
It was like some quaint little English town. Yeah. Yes, Ancient Ram Inn. Also, I think
we should do some research on that.
I think Stonehenge is also on a ley line.
Probably.
Yeah. So maybe let's look at a map.
More conspiracies coming your way.
It goes all the way to the top, you guys.
Shit, this is what I love.
Okay.
So
haunted shit.
Haunted shit happens. You can do daily tours. They also offer 3-hour investigations, overnight investigations, as well as events that you can go and attend.
Cool.
As well.
Let go.
So.
Okay, friends.
Okay.
So let's talk about Craft Cocktail Cult.
Craft Cocktail Cult.
So
we're going to Italia. So tonight we are making an Aperol.
So I've never tasted this before. I've never made anything with it before. I've never pronounced it before.
Aperol Spritz.
We're making, or also known as a Spritz Veneziano.
Which, so Aperol, I looked it up, is like Campari, which is an Italian aperitif.
Which is in our Negroni recipe, which
yes.
we gave a few weeks back, or as Anna would like to say, a Nairogi.
And an aperitif is something you typically drink after dinner to help with your digestion.
It's like a little bubbly, very lightly alcoholic but refreshing cocktail. It's almost like kind of a palate cleanser, sort of. It's just, fruity, light, spritzy.
So you're going to take a wine glass, a little fancy wine glass, and you're going to put in 1 1/4 ounce of Aperol, 2 ounces of Prosecco, and a splash of soda water. Put some ice in it. And bam, drink it.
Garnish if you please.
If you
Orange
want to.
Wedges would be nice.
Yeah.
Lemon
or
would
lemon.
do fine. Any sort of citrus.
Just take a little swig and, drink the whole thing. Don't just take one swig, drink it.
Sounds very refreshing for summer.
Yeah.
I think we're going to try one later because we're grilling tonight and it's hot out and it sounds very refreshing.
It'll be perfect.
Can't wait.
Hopefully it's good.
So,
if not, well, sorry.
So sorry. So if you try this recipe, friends, let us know. Check us out. We also want to hear from you if you've ever experienced anything paranormal, if you've been to any of the places we've talked about on the podcast, if you have ever, or you or anyone you know have ever experienced anything that's really scary or you can't quite explain and you want to share it with us. We love to hear that stuff.
Hell yeah.
Please send us an email at nightmarenation19@gmail.com.
Or you can tag us, check us out, chat with us, send us a message on the Instagram, which is nightmare.nation19, or the Facebook nightmare_nation19.
Be friends with us.
I want to chat with y'all.
Let's chat it up.
Y'all are my friends.
Yeah.
So there we are.
Do those things, but you know what you shouldn't do,
Don't
Anna?
fucking do it.
Don't have a seance.
Don't fucking do it.
Do not use a Ouija
stupid.
board.
That's just stupid. You're just inviting the devil into your life, and nobody wants the devil in your life.
I mean, I do because he's my husband,
well,
but the rest of you should not want him in your life.
Back up off her goddamn husband, bitches.
Yeah, fuck off.
Like, go fuck
he's
yourself.
He's mine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Get out of here.
So,
but don't do it.
Just please don't invite evil forces into your life. There's enough evil in the world already without you having a seance and using a Ouija board and inviting more evil in.
Exactly. You just don't need that in your life.
You don't. So,
all right.
Stay safe.
Until next time.
Until next time.
Bye.
Bye.